that's also its downside. Anyone also can get in. If you're the person that's creating, it becomes harder also for you to somehow get traction. It becomes harder also for you to get a base or for you to be able to market it because there's a lot of competition out there as well. Or in the same way also as an investor, because everyone's starting to make it, there will be a lot of projects, there will be a lot of NFTs that will actually fail. In my opinion, what we're seeing right now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the ones that you are seeing that will be relevant right now, majority of them, 90+% of them won't be around anymore. Hey guys, so I want to talk about best investments, and when I say best investments, please do note that it's not a one-size-fits-all strategy, and when you go about best investments, it's highly subjective depending on the person that's maybe analyzing it and investing in it. It depends also on the different risk factors and also preference, and that's why as you've been watching all of my videos over the past few months, that it's been highly focused on either stocks, either crypto, either NFTs. I think that's what piques my interest. That's what makes me excited. That's what, above all of the other investments that are out there, you have derivatives, you have commodities, you also have real estate, you have Forex, you have investments in raw land, you have people doing flipping. Somehow crypto, NFTs, and the stock market is something that appeals massively to me. And for this video, I just want to focus primarily on NFTs, and I have been investing in NFTs probably for more than a year now. What's so nice about it is because it's so new, there's a lot of learnings along the way. There's a lot of things that I have discovered. There's a lot of things that, in terms of how I would analyze it, changed the way I would perceive NFTs as well, and the way I would somehow buy and collect, and also pick the ones that I would actually want to look at. So for this video, I just want to focus on what do I think are NFTs that matter, or NFTs that are worth getting into, or and are worth buying. For those who watched my videos at the start of early 2021, when I said that I've started to dabble into NFTs and I first learned about it via NBA Top Shot, I first looked at it primarily as modern day NBA cards. I first looked at it also as a collectible or somehow art. For those who also participated in the launches that I had with Binance, that's what I saw with it at first. I saw it as something that people would like to collect, that as people started to collect it, because there may be scarcity, or that person may be someone that people like a lot, that there would be a chance that it would have appreciation. Here's what's so interesting about it, because it's equal opportunity right now for everyone to get into the NFT space, which is one of its biggest upsides in my opinion, that because it's so early, anyone can start to get in, but because it's also so early, that's also its downside. Anyone also can get in. If you're the person that's creating, it becomes harder also for you to somehow get traction. It becomes harder also for you to get a base, or for you to be able to market it because there's a lot of competition out there as well. Or in the same way also as an investor, because everyone's starting to make it, there will be a lot of projects, there will be a lot of NFTs that will actually fail. In my opinion, what we're seeing right now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the ones that you are seeing that will be relevant right now, majority of them, 90+% of them won't be around anymore, or may have failed already. And it's the same way as how you look at business, how you look at startups, how you look at everything else in between, that not everyone will make it eh. Not everyone will do a good job eh. Your responsibility as an investor is to figure out which are the ones that, at least from your own analysis, are the ones that will generally work for you, are the ones that are good for you, because at the end of the day, we all have different sets of parameters on how we start to analyze what works for us and what's actually good for us or not. So as what I mentioned, I want to look at it as a collectible piece. I want to look at it as a piece also of maybe art, maybe something that's scarce, because please do note also last year, it was Beeple at the start of everything that rocked the entire NFT world because of his very, very expensive NFT that he sold for billions of dollars. But what I've noticed is things evolved a lot. Communities started to form. I also mentioned this in previous videos that it has become a modern day country club. It has become a digital country club. It has been a place where people with same interests, people who like the same things, are part of a certain ecosystem, part of a certain group. That's how it has actually evolved. However, everyone also started to do that. You've been seeing a lot of NFT projects trying to copy one another, trying to be this ape, trying to be this cat, trying to be this dog, trying to do whatsoever in between. So if you want to be an investor that wants to bank in something that will be there over the next few years, then focus on the blue chip projects. Because a lot of people want to enter this and want to just speculate what will be the next flip, what will be the next pump, what will be the floor. When I buy this floor, how can it actually go up? And the thing about that, similar to cryptocurrencies, is it's so hard to predict what will be its price for a certain period of time. It will be so hard to predict where it will be over the next 3 years. From a price perspective, please do note this. The difference between NFTs and buying cryptos and buying stocks is it's not as liquid. It's not as liquid as you buying something from a crypto exchange, and when you want to sell it, you get to sell it right away. Here, if you post it even at the lowest price, there's a big chance that it gets sold, but there's not a big chance that if no one will actually buy it or transact it at the very point that you actually posted the price, then you might not actually be able also to sell it. Since everyone has been copying each other, my opinion is this: always go for the ones that are considered already blue chip, the ones that have a lot of funding from major institutions, the ones that have a lot of partnerships from major brands, the ones that have a lot already on the line, especially, in my opinion, if the people behind it are staking not just their money in it, but also their reputation. For people who are putting everything on the line, that if this fails, their livelihood is affected, their reputation is affected. And not just that, the reason why I said institutions, the reason why I said brands, because these large institutions and companies and brands, of course, above and beyond doing their own due diligence, they will hold the people behind it also accountable, that they are following whatever roadmap is there, that they're following whatever plan is there. That's why if you look at it pecking order-wise, from the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs of this world, Mutant Ape, Bored Kennel Club, Doodles, World of Women, Cool Cats, Gutter Club, the ones that have relatively sticky communities and partnerships will do well. And if you notice it, the ones that stake their name and reputation on the line, the Gary Vaynerchuks of this world, and look at the art of Series 1, it's not really as good as compared to the other NFT projects out there. But people need to understand this. People are not buying VFriends for the art. People are buying VFriends for the person behind it, which is Gary Vaynerchuk. And the reason why VFriends is interesting is because Gary V is taking his name, his reputation, putting it on the line. What people like about it is that he's not just building it just for the next 8 minutes. Please do remember this, and I've been saying this over and over. When you invest, don't just look for the next 8 minutes. Look at where you want to be over the next 8 years. And that's what Gary Vaynerchuk is actually building. He's building intellectual property that will be the fabric of what movies will probably be like, what animation studios will actually pick up, or IP from certain things that they could actually also sell. That's why even if Series 1, in terms of how it looked, is not as aesthetically appealing to a lot of people, but what it represents, the hustle behind it, the people running it, that's what's going to make it interesting. And if you've been looking at Series 2 already of VFriends, you would actually see this, that the underlying theme of it, if you compare Series 1 versus Series 2, the designs of Series 2 is already massively better. But just another tip also from an NFT perspective, normally, the first project, the original, will always have higher weight. It will always be, over the long term, in my opinion, have better value. And that's why even Curio cards does not have a lot of utility if you compare it to the newer projects out there. But because it's one of the first ones that's available, it's one of the first NFTs, and it represents a whole culture of, these were the first NFTs that were out there already. It represents a lot of things to a lot of investors and collectors out there as well. But I guess above and beyond also looking at how big they are, who are the people behind it, who are the ones pushing it, the brand deals, the people who stake their name on the line, I think this is what's so interesting, and this is what will separate an NFT way up against all of the other projects out there. What you can get when you own it. And if there's one thing that Bored Ape Yacht Club did when they started to change the game, was their token sale. You could right-click a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you could save it in your hard drive and post it also. But since ownership is not based on how you right-click it and you save it on your hard drive, but ownership is basically based on the blockchain, what wallet address points to that token and shows you ownership. The ones that own the token, the ones that own the NFTs, got the airdrop. So kudos to the ones who have been hodling into it. Kudos to the ones that have been buying and stacking BAYC, MAYC, Bored Ape Kennel Club, etc. Because they're the ones who got those free tokens. They're the ones who were able to reap the benefits off of it. They're the ones who, over the long term, not even over the long term, but over just a short period of time, They were the ones who were able to get the ape token. I think that's a template of what people should actually look at right here, right now also. What can they get above and beyond the token? What can they get above and beyond just owning it as well? And I think that's what people need to realize here. The best investments are the ones that will give you utility. The best investments that when you get it, it's not just you waiting and getting capital appreciation, but you get some sort of dividend because you actually own it and hold it and stack it, and there's bits and pieces of ownership attached to it as well. I think that's what people need to learn. Please do note this, it doesn't mean that because it has utility, it's not going to go down. It doesn't mean that it does not have utility, it will always stay up forever, it will go up. It doesn't mean that. It just means that because there's something useful about it, there's something that's nice about it, there's underlying reason on why people want to hold on to it instead of just dumping it, it will store and hold value. And please do note this, we're April 2022, it's so massively early. There's still a lot of things that will change in this front. There's still a lot of things that we will actually see that 5 years from now will be totally different from where we are today. That's why it's so important to study. That's why it's so important to learn. That's why it's so important to take the time to see what's best for you. What's best for me may not be best for you, and what's best for you may not be best for me. Go for the bigger one. Go for the ones that have merit. Don't just look at it as a pump and dump scheme. Don't just look at it for the ones that will make you rich over the next 8 minutes. Look for reputation, look for institutional buying, look for brands, look for people that are staking their reputations into it. Look for scarcity, look for the ones that are more original. Look at the first of each kind per project. Because again, there's so many ape projects out there, but there's only one Bored Ape Yacht Club. There's so many cat projects out there, but there's only one Cool Cats. Look for projects like that. Look for projects that once you step into them, you get utility and you get a benefit because you're a holder. Look at the community as well. Look at how good the community is. Look at how active they are, how involved they are, and look at how the project also loves the community, supports the community, breeds the community, listens to the community. Also look at the roadmap. If the people behind the project are actually following the roadmap, that what they say, they actually do, and what they do is what they actually say. Again, please take the time to learn, please take the time to study. Please, whatever you hear here, don't just buy or invest just because you hear it here. Please take the time to learn more about it. Please take the time to build your own conviction, because that's what will help you, that's what will push you, and that's what will take you forward. If you want to be different from everyone else, stop being like everyone else. Stop listening to the crowd and start learning on your own. Start building the conviction on your own. If you want to learn more about stocks, crypto, NFTs, your courses below. We also have books down below. And there, I just hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. Marvin Germo. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.